Hello, I'm DeDe, and welcome to 30 Minutes of Yoga. Today we're going to bring greater awareness to side bending, which is also called lateral flexion, anytime you're bending your spine over to the side. And this will help us garner better core strength, better balance, better coordination, and better flexibility, especially through our torso muscles. If you're on a hard floor like I am, you'll need a yoga mat. Place it in the same orientation that I have mine. You'll also need a folded towel and some water to sip on. You probably won't need your shoes or your socks. Give yourself a lot of space, hopefully a quiet space. Make sure that you move only through the range of motion and at the speed that works for you. Okay, we're going to start in a seated position. So for this, you may want to sit on your folded towel, like a little chair. Or you may want to just sit on a chair, an actual chair, or you may want to just come down and sit on the floor. So I want you to come down in a way that works for you, comfortably. Sit with your legs folded if you're sitting on the floor. You can have your feet further away. If that feels better. You can have your feet closer to you. If that feels better, you don't have to cross your ankles. You can have one foot in front of the other like I have mine. And do what feels comfortable. And then if you're sitting up on your elevated surface, make sure you're sitting right at the front edge of it. If you're sitting in the chair, just sit up straight and tall without using the back of the chair for support if you can. And then our eyes will close if you're okay there. Bring equal weight across both of your hips. Let your arms relax. Your hands can rest in your lap. And then we'll start to cultivate deeper breathing. In through the nose, out through the nose as well. See if you can think about bringing your inhales back into your low back ribs and expanding them out. See if that gives you a better capacity for breathing. Some deep breathing is always a great place to start your practice because it helps you with your internal environment, which will in turn help you with your external environment. Getting everything quieter, a little more peaceful, a little more grounded, that's what we want. So now if your eyes are closed, you can let them open. All right, and then we'll switch our legs around. If you're sitting with your legs folded, just reverse it. Press our palms together and we'll make some circles with our fingers like you're drawing a circle up on the ceiling. Once you get all the way around once, go the other way. So circling around and then reversing. Still breathing deeply. And then release your hands apart and with your fingers open, do some wrist circles with some and thumb wiggling. And then do the same thing, making a light fist. All right, and then release your hands down to your lap, and then we'll do a torso circle one time around in one direction, and then when you get back to the upright, go the other way. Now you can keep your back fairly rigid, and keeping the spine straight. Or if you're comfortable, you can soften up just a little bit through your neck and your shoulders and make it just a little bit softer. And I want you to do the one that feels best to your torso muscles. So by the way, we're already starting our side bends here. There's another one, side bending. So side bending, even though you don't think about it, is present in our everyday activities. For example, if you're reaching up onto a high shelf or something, you may not realize it, but you're bending to the side in order to get your hand up a little bit higher. Of course, when we're getting in and out of bed, there could be a side bend. Getting in and out of the car, there could be a side bend. And then we come back to the center. Now let your arms come down to your sides and roll your shoulders. Here's one. If you're carrying something in your back pocket and you're sitting, you lean to the side like this. You get a little side bend going so you can get that thing out of your pocket. There's another time where side bending happens. All right. And then we'll inhale the arms out. On the exhale, twist and look over one shoulder. And we'll come back to the center. Inhale and exhale. Here's another time where side bending happens. When you wake up, maybe you sit up and you stretch like that, right? A little side bend can sometimes happen there. Maybe a big side bend even. All right, one more time in each direction. All right, and then we'll come onto our hands and knees now. So if you're sitting in a chair, go ahead and join us down on the floor, on your yoga mat, or wherever you're doing this practice. Extra padding under your knees, of course, if you need it. We warmed up our wrists already, but if you need to be up on your fists and knees right now, you can do that. Otherwise, palms and knees. Now we tip the tailbone up toward the ceiling as we inhale, shoulders away from ears. And then we exhale and tuck the tailbone under. Let's go back and forth there. One more. Now, neutral spine, that means we're not tucking under or lifting up. And then press your hips to one side, your shoulders go to the other side. So this is not really a side bend. This is more of a stretch for the outer portion of your shoulder and your hip. If you're down flat on your palms, as I am, make sure that your palms stay flat for this. And your elbows stay pretty much straight. Try not to let your head droop. Now we're coming back to the center, and then we inhale there. On the exhale, drop your elbows down, just a few inches away from your knees, and then we'll do it again. So we started out with wrists under the shoulders, so that means when we drop down, the elbows are just a few inches away from the knees. Let's do it again, this time tucking the toes under. See how that feels for your feet. Make sure you're not overstretching your toes. Now this time we stay down. If you push your hips back further, that's going to take you into quite a bit more toe stretch. So please be conservative with that. Try not to droop your head here and keep pressing your shoulders away from your ears. All right, and then we'll untuck our toes and we'll sit into your version of child's pose, whether it's way back like this or something further forward like this. You decide. And then we're going to come forward onto our elbows and knees. So make sure you have enough padding under your elbows. Make sure that your knees are directly under your hips and your elbows are directly under your shoulders. Shoulders away from ears. Use your abdominal muscles to help support your back. Now we inhale, pick up one hand. So we're leaning on the other elbow. As you exhale, reach to the opposite side of your forward hand. So you can watch a couple if you need to. Inhale. Other side now, exhale, reach across. So if you're confident you know what we're doing, go ahead and join me. So now this is a side bend. You're not going to overdo it, but feel what's happening in your torso muscles. In fact, I'm going to show you a couple from this view so you can really get a good view of what's happening. See the side bend as it's happening there, if you can see me. All right, couple more. And then we'll sit back into your version of child's pose once again, whatever that looks like. Make your choice based on how it feels for your knees, your ankles, your hips. All right, and then we're coming up. We still need this extra padding under the knees, so make sure you keep it. If you're somebody who's a fan of the extra padding, you'll still need it. Now take your leg that's closest to me and step the foot forward on that side. Taking your time, stepping it forward. Take a second step or a third step if you need to. And then lean into this kneeling lunge so your knee is right over your ankle. And then we'll sweep the arms up. Inhale. And then we'll sweep the arms down and a little bit behind us for the exhale. We'll do that a few more times. So you're doing your version of this arm sweep. If your elbows are bent, that's fine. If you're not going up very high, that's fine too. All right, let's stop. Now you can push off with your hands. You can even keep your hands down while you switch legs, or you can switch legs the way we got into it, this way. So we challenge our balance a little bit with this method. I want you to keep your hands down if you need to though. All right, lean into it with your knee over your ankle. This time the arms go wide, we inhale, and then they go more narrow when we exhale. Let's do it again. Keeping your shoulders quietly away from your ears. Now we'll take both hands down, lift up your back knee, and we're going to walk hand over hand toward one another. You won't need your extra padding for a while, so go ahead and get rid of that. Turn your toes out now. You're facing me, I'm facing you. We have a nice, generously wide stance. Take your hands up onto your thighs. Keep your knees bending, keep pushing your knees out, and then we'll rise up. Take your time. Inhale, hands pressed together. Exhale, sit back and down with your hips, and we'll do it again. Elbows can stay very bent here. Now we come right about to here, and then we stay. You okay here? Inhale your arms out. Exhale, side bend here. And then we switch. Keep pushing your knees out. You don't have to sit super low. And what I mean by that is you can be up here with just a little bend in your knees if that's better for you. But if you can, sit back and way down to the best of your ability. Keep the knees wide, keep pushing them open. This time we side bend and we hold here. And breathe. Shoulders are quiet. Draw your top shoulder and elbow back a little bit. So we're challenging right now our balance, our flexibility, our mobility, muscular endurance, and then inhale up and switch. Now if you change your focal point and you start to look up, that's going to challenge your balance even more. So be conservative with that. Use your best judgment. Looking down is okay. Looking straight out toward me, that's okay. Come back to center. Now we're turning this way into a high lunge. So your right foot is in front. You're up on the tiptoes of your left foot. Keep your back knee straight or straight-ish and bend your front knee as much as you can. Hands on your hips. Feel what's happening in your body. There's some stabilization, there's some flexibility work, there's balance, strength. All right, now we'll turn and we'll go to the other side. As usual, I'm going to remind you to be on a railroad track instead of a tightrope with your feet. Tiptoes of your back foot. High lunge, but we still have our hands on our hips for now. Keeping your back knee as straight as you can, but bending your front knee at the same time. Let's come back to the center. Now this time when we're in the center, we're going to bring our feet in and we'll be in mountain pose with the feet directly under the hip joints. Mountain pose. So we've had our feet apart this way, we've had our feet apart this way and this way. Now we have our feet back together. So I want you to feel that your legs are strong, stable, and closer together now. Let's do a side bend here. So inhale, your right hand comes down. As you exhale, push your hips out to the left, and then switch. Inhale. Exhale, push your hips out. So shifting the weight, but not bending your knees. So we each do this to the degree that works for us. I'm doing it this far, you're doing it as far as you need to. Now this side bend can be made quite a bit more challenging in the following way. So we're going to bend and hold, and then only if it feels okay for you are you going to take your arm away. It's not supporting now. If that doesn't feel good, you put it back and you support. Otherwise you're here and you're breathing and you're pushing your hips out. And then inhale, coming back up, and exhaling over to the other side. Get the support first. Push your hips out as far as you can, and then see how it feels to take your hand away. Now this principle of this side bend, supported, unsupported, we're going to bring that to our high lunge. Okay, are you ready? So come on up. Inhale. As you exhale, step out wide, and we'll come to our high lunge facing this way. Same high lunge we did earlier. You can face me if you want to. We're just doing the same thing we did earlier. So bending our front knee, straightening out our back leg. Both arms come down. And now the arm that's closest to me, that one goes up. And you're either supporting with your back hand on your hip, or you're letting your arm hang down. Stay here. So now, as opposed to a regular high lunge, we're challenging our balance so much more because of this side bend. Can you feel it? Make sure you stay safe. Get next to a wall if you need something to stabilize yourself with, or a countertop, or a chair. And then we'll come back up steady now. Easy does it. We'll turn the other way. Find the railroad track for your feet to be on. Drop in. Both arms down, and then the arm that's closest to me goes up, and you either support with your back hand on your hip, or your back hand, the one that's furthest from me, goes down. So feel the length down the stretching side, that's your right side. Feel the length. Keep your eyes on a good quality focal point, something that's not moving, something that's not distracting. And then we're coming out of our side bend, and we're coming back to the front. Bring your feet together once again. Back to mountain pose once again. Hands come together. Equal weight across both of your hips. Sorry, both of your feet. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. Otherwise, keep your eyes open. And then if your eyes are closed, let them open. We'll do tree pose series where we're going to eventually add a side bend, all right? So turn your right knee out to the right. Keep your toes on the floor for this first round. Pull your left hip in, hands together in front of your heart. Now for balancing poses, you definitely want to keep your eyes open. So that's what we're doing here with a good quality focal point. So remember, when we're holding still in tree pose or any balancing pose, we're holding still not like a statue because we're human and we're moving and we're breathing. We're holding still more like a tree that's moving in the breeze. Now release and we'll switch. So if you're not holding perfectly still, that's fine. Left knee, make sure it's out to the left. Pull your right hip in and breathe. And then release. Both feet are down. Now do the same thing, round two, or take your foot up below your knee on your calf. So it's above your ankle, but below your knee. And then try the arms out to the sides this time. we'll switch. Remember, it's always easier to balance on the floor than it is on the floor plus your yoga mat. So make that switch. Get off of your mat if you need to. All right, you find your just right foot placement. This time the thumbs will be up. And then let's release. All right, so now either version 1, version 2, or help your foot up here to your inner upper thigh for version 3. Make sure that you're near a wall if you need to be. All right, then we'll go back to the thumbs up, arms out, knee out to the side. And then here's where we maybe choose to add a side bend, maybe not. It's going to challenge your balance more. More challenge. Sometimes it's not for the best, sometimes it is. Now we take our time and we come out of the side bend, and then we bring the foot down. So take your time. And let's do the other side. So you find your foot placement. Get your light support from the wall if you need it. Arms come out, thumbs up, shoulders relaxed. And then maybe you bend to the side. Side bend, and we'll take the foot down. Coming back to our mountain pose now. This time we'll do it here with our arms down to our sides with the inner elbows and the palms facing forward. Let your eyes open. All right, now we're going to stretch the left side of our body all the way down here into what are called our IT bands. So we'll take our right foot and cross it in front. We'll push the hips out to the left. We'll place our right hand on our hip, and then we'll take our left arm over. The more you can shift your center of gravity out from under you, the more stretch you'll feel in your hip, down below it. This is also a side bend, I'm sure you're noticing. And then we'll come up and we'll reverse it. So both feet down, left leg across the front, square up to the front. Push your hips out to the right. Bend your front knee, but keep your back knee straight. Separate your feet about hip joint distance apart. And take your hands on your hips behind you as if you're putting your hands deep down in your back pockets. And then press your shoulders down away from the base of your skull. Draw your elbows way back and feel that opening through your chest, your shoulders, and your upper arms as well. Breathe. And then let's release the arms. Roll your shoulders up and back and down. And one more time. So how did that feel? Do you feel like you may be a little bit more limber in some of your torso muscles? Do you feel like you could reach up more easily onto a high shelf now because we stretched and limbered some of those muscles? I hope so. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, stay well.